Liverpool are a hard one to figure out at the moment, aren't they? Because, after the Villa and the Real Madrid wins, you thought, oh, they're back. Played well, deserved to win those games. And then there's the City performance. So, where are Liverpool at the moment?
They're in a tough position. They are, because the expectations of being defending champions, you have to perform the following season. And then the performance against City was lacklustre. You had the good result against Villa, performance against Madrid, then you go to City. And that's not taking anything away from Manchester City, by the way. I thought they was brilliant on the day, but Liverpool didn't throw up anything in regards to the game or give them any stress. Obviously, the goal got disallowed Virgil van Dijk, but other than that, they were easy pickings for Man City. Where they go from now, look, this game at the weekend could be a real difficult one again.
Yeah. Could champions Liverpool be set for another barrage of long balls and long throws when Sean Dyche and Nottingham Forest are in town? Charlie, Arne Slot has said they've not quite yet found the answer to direct play from their opponents. What do you think Sean Dyche would have made of those comments?
He would have took it in his stride, the comments, and like all managers in the Premier League, that's another tactic that we can do to beat Liverpool. So everyone goes on about Sean Dyche in a way, it's a Dyche ball and all this, it's a long ball. There's more to it, but it's any
manager who hears that, they're going to prick up and go, oh,
of course it is. The opposition manager's showing us that as a weakness, telling us that there's a weakness in how we can't defend long balls. And everybody can see it themselves when watching games. Football, Liverpool don't react well to teams that go from back to front quickly. So it won't be a shock to anybody watching the game that it'll be a long ball game from Nottingham Forest.
Last season we didn't manage to beat Forest. We had a couple of good wins against them previously, but they've been tight games except for one, I think, in the last 3 years. The season before that we struggled against them as well. So whilst at home Forest it should be a winnable game for this Liverpool team, you just don't know which Liverpool's going to turn up at the moment.
Now, Forest have got a lot more than just playing long ball football, but the point is that there's definitely a movement this year in the Premier League towards a more direct style of play. Look at Arsenal, who are leading the way, and they play a very direct style of play. Some people argue that they score too much from set plays and not enough from open play. So my question to you, Connor, is that if Liverpool can't fix this defensively in terms of how to repulse direct play, then do you think it's going to be very hard for them to mount a title challenge?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen before, haven't we, the Premier League, all the best Premier League managers adapt. To come back to Pep Guardiola, he changed his style a couple of years ago with City. I mean, even buying Haaland at the time, was people in Haaland's first season at times were questioning whether he was the right signing for the way that they play football. And look at him now, that the best teams and the best managers adapt. And you're absolutely right. This season we're seeing a shift more towards set pieces and long balls, and Liverpool have been slow to adapt to that. And it is now, it's down to Slot. And I've said this before as well. Slot's got to find the answers now. It's all well and good him knowing what the problems are and saying what they are, but he's got to find the answers now. And if that means us dropping a bit deeper and sacrificing a bit of that pressing up top and things like that, then that's what we've got to do. We also, on that as well, we need to get better from defending set pieces as well. Our record for defending set pieces.
Connor, on that, sorry, jump in on there. But that was last year. It's right to say Liverpool didn't have to deal with long balls, etc. But yes, okay, Trent's gone is out of there. Kirk has been playing, but obviously Robertson's been back in. Kanate and Van Dijk were still there. They were still having to defend. The number one principle is defend the box, defend crosses. Nothing's really changed. The only thing that's happened is the mistakes are happening and they're being capitalised on it by the opposition team, right? And we're going about how is it going to change, how is it going to improve? Well, they have to do it on the training pitch week in, week out. Do it in the games, because ultimately they can't bring no players in until January. And then the argument comes to it, well, Mark Gay is a perfect person to come in because the Kanate saga continues. How they move on is start defending like it means the world to them, and not worry about it'll be okay because we've got Mohamed Salah to go and get us out of trouble and go and score goals. That's the truth. That last year that was because Salah's the talisman and everyone looked towards him. He was the one to go and get the goals, right? We concede one, we go and score two. Well, actually, do you know what? They don't work like that, and it hasn't been working like that since the start of the season.
Do you know what? And we said the same. A lot of Liverpool fans said the same last season. We saw at the end of the season, and particularly after January, when Salah's not firing on all fronts last season, that reliance on him was criminal at times, and the rest of the team weren't picking up the slack. It's why nowadays we're seeing a lot of revisionism about whether we were right to sell Luis Diaz because of how well he's doing at Munich. But you look at him last season in January, February, and the chances he was missing for us and not picking up that kind of responsibility. we've shared that burden across right as well. It's all well and good me sitting here and saying that Slot needs to fix things and to figure out what the issues are as well. But you're absolutely right. We need to cut out the individual errors, and they have really defined our season so far. It's been uncharacteristic at times from Van Dijk. Konate looks like his head's been turned at times this season as well. It was refreshing to hear him come out in the international break and say that he wants the contract situation resolved as soon as possible. Whether that leads to Gueye or not, it doesn't really make any difference to us fans. We just want to see them putting the performances in on the pitch and playing for the badge on the front of the shirt, right? And that's not been happening at all times this season. I got slated a couple of weeks ago because I came on and said I wasn't impressed with the form of Van Dijk, and thankfully he's picked it up since then a little bit. But you only have to look at the City game, and they were both miles off it again, and we can't keep letting that happen. Last season we won the league because every game, you're absolutely right, they were leading from the back all over teams straight away, playing like their lives depended on it, and this season that's been missing for sure.
Given what Slot has said about Liverpool struggling to deal with those long balls, when you look at Sean Dyche and Nottingham Forest, are they one of the last teams you'd like to face right now?
I think I'd sort of echo what Charlie said a little bit there, being totally respectful to Sean Dyche, I think, and he's an underrated manager in my opinion. I've said that for you. Even when he was at Everton, I had to bite my tongue a little bit saying it then, but I've always felt he was a bit underrated as a manager. I don't think Slot saying that we struggle with long balls is going to have changed Sean Dyche's approach at all. He knows what he wants from his teams. He knows how to set them up. He sets them up difficult to play against and difficult to beat, and I don't think we'll see anything different in his approach. Slot's being honest, and that's been refreshing for us at times this season and last season as well.
But is that refreshing in this case, though, Connor? Because he's pinpointing a weakness. So all that's going to happen now is that Liverpool are going to get peppered even more by opposition who can play like that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, yeah, that's you'd think so. But then I think that, again, we're talking about Premier League managers, aren't we? I think it's doing them down to say that they need Arne Slot to come out in a press conference to the wide world and say, we struggle against long ball teams, and then suddenly Pep Guardiola's going to go, in that case I'll play long ball. I don't see that happening for Premier League managers. There's a reason they are where they are, and as Charlie says, it's not that simple. It's refreshing to hear that Slot knows what the issues are, that we struggle against long ball teams. Like, it'd be nice to see us do something about it now. I think that's the next step. At least he knows what the problems are. It'd be worse. I'd feel much worse about it as a fan if he was coming out every single week and saying, I don't know why we're losing games. We're trying our best. We're working hard. We should be winning these games and stuff, because that would just blatantly not be true.
Which of these sides do you think need him the most?
I think Tottenham need him the most, without a shadow of doubt. I thought he was going to go to Liverpool in the summer. I did think that. I did think the connection with Richard Hughes, obviously going to Liverpool and obviously being at Bournemouth and knowing Semenya, I did think he would go to Liverpool.
Florian Wirtz, I thought was outstanding. And the player, remember Leverkusen, and the player Liverpool have been yearning for him to be, comes into this game and just dictates so much about Germany's creative play, those passes from midfield, they run from the left-hand side. I thought this is Florian Wirtz at his comfortable best. And we've spoken about this. A lot of times when you're away, when you're with your club and you're struggling, international duty is such a welcome departure, that you can go and be among players that you know and you feel a whole lot more relaxed. But now, as I mentioned, as far as this game goes, I'm not sure exactly how relaxed everybody could be. But once they get the opening goal and everybody just seems to settle down, I thought Florian Wirtz was at times unplayable, certainly unreadable in terms of his passing from whether it's deep or getting on the ball. That's the Florian Wirtz that everybody has been yearning for.
Yeah. So what can you take from that, given what we're seeing with Liverpool and how it's been tougher for him, and that this is what we're seeing with Germany?
Well, first of all, just look at what position he was playing today. That's not where he's been playing for Liverpool. They're having in this sort of hybrid position in which he's actually supposed to help the midfield, but he's really joining in the attack as well, and he's neither here nor there. Where he was playing today is on the left-hand side. On the left-hand side, coming from the left, and then allowing him to go find the game. If he wants to come off the line, so be it. If he wants to stay in the line, so be it. Freedom to then make decisions and feel the game and allow the game to come to him. That ball that he plays to Leroy Sané, if he's playing for Liverpool, I don't know whether he plays that ball or not.
I don't know if he's not in the position to play that.
Well, that's fair enough. Yeah. But even if he's in the position, there's so much thinking going on right now for Florian Wirtz with Liverpool that maybe he just settles with the sideways pass, the 10-yard pass that it was right here, instead of the 35-yard pass that breaks everything open.